Hi everyone, sorry I'm a little late. I just had to have a cuppa and there we go. Get myself organised. So what I want to do first is we're gonna do some rule work, but I just wanted to touch base with the pounce pad here. Just let me get my computer going. Question was the other day, will it pounce onto this stuff, which is a different type of fabric. So I am going to just put my gloves on. Excuse me. When you're on, let me know. I'm back, just got back, had to water my plants. So it's good, at least you got time to do it. So I'm going to open this one because a lady wanted to know how this works. I think it was Karen. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I've got it written down. Hi, Bryony. Thank you for your message. Yes, I've got them all. Thank you. So this one here is quite an easy one. Hi, Sandy. And I'll show you how this works. Now, this is a silk. So I'm going to probably just up here, I'm going to do the small one. And g'day Naomi. And I'm just going to pounce with white. Me personally, I haven't used it on silk before, so it'll be interesting. I'm sure it'll show. Yes, it does. Obviously it's shiny, so it's going to be hard to see, but I can see it. Let me just adjust the camera so you can really see what I'm doing, and I'll just zoom her in. Sorry, whoops, days. All right, so it is there, absolutely there, and it does work on it. Oops, I've come unthreaded. Got black thread on, so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. In there, little booger. Oops. Let's thread this baby. Must have come undone last time I cut it off. They do that. They do that. Machines do that. This one tends to. It's something to do with my tension. But, you know, that's all I have to deal with. I'm laughing. Hi Heather, how you going? So, threaded easily with that. So I pounced on, it does show. It is very light. And I can see it though. I just need to lift that foot up a little because it's a little bit tight. There we go. So that's just a release. And then just re-tighten it up. Don't try and do it finger tight, it's not tight enough. Alright, so I'm just going to get that off. It's that start thing. Oh, that's the wrong one. That one. Starting, yep. So yes, it does work. Alright, okay, I'm just going to make sure I can see. Oh yes, so we do, and if you notice, I keep my hands away from the actual powder area, so you just stitch, follow it all the way around, and when you get to that point, you pause, then come back out and around, just as per the pattern, and do that feather bit. So we just want to go and do that feather bit there. Nice and simple. It's a nice easy one. I'll have to look at my notes, who that was. Way too much in my head. And follow that down. Then follow it back up. So you pause, and look around, pause, you just keep doing that every time you want to point. If you don't pause, you get a rounded corner. This one is reflecting, so I'm hoping I can see it as I get closer. So that's the only thing I would say, is that because it's so shiny, it reflects a bit. As I get under the machine, I can see it better. But of course the lights sort of reflect on it. So in we go, back out. See where that first one is. There it is. And you need to do quite a hard swipe on it so that you can see, because when you give it a dust off, it's a lot lighter. Oops, there goes the bottom. But you can see, so yes, it does work. Okay, and you can see the pounce there. But underneath the light of the machine, it is a lot harder to see. You'll need glasses, 100%. Yeah, but it does work. It does get in. So there you are. So that's the update on that pattern. That was called Feather Swirled Border. And oops, oopsie days, I dropped it. And I think I sold them all, but I can order more. There we go. A bit of green fluffing from the other day. I think it goes that way. Clockwise. Alrighty, let's see if we can get this baby in. Didn't want to go in for me the other day, this one. I just wanted to play funny buggers. There we go. So if you've got any questions at all, please ask. Don't sort of just sit there and go, oh, I wish I could have known this or whatever. Just ask me. Only too happy to help. So if you notice, I stay still for a couple of stitches before I start moving. That just reduces that dog leg, that little jump that you tend to get when you first start quilting. Alrighty. Alright, so there you go. So that's those two done. And the chook comes off really, really easy. Just wipe it and it's gone. Or you can iron that one, irons off as well, that one. But yeah, that is done. Oh, I had a bit of a moment there with the thread on the bottom. What's going on there? Okie dokie. Oh, that's because I had a long tail. Yeah, so that's using that pounce pad and that design, so you can see how that stitches out. It's really quite simple. So you go in and to the circle, the point, then come back out again, do those feathers, and then you echo, and then come back and repeat that. It's very, very easy. All right. Now, let's do some ruler work. So, with ruler work, I like to use this thing. I'm just going to adjust that camera again so you can see. I've tried free motioning today. It looks like I might have been very drunk, but fun to... Oh, look, it takes some time, and just keep going. Just keep doing it, Susan. The more you do, the better you'll get every single time. Okay? All right, so I'm just going to draw an outside square. Where's my pencil? Where did I put you? There it is. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Jennifer. Hopefully this will work on here. Not really. Hang on, let me just see if that one will work. Yep, that one works. Alright, so then we go I'm just going to go here. It's probably too big a square. It's alright. And I might go 6. There we go. And 6 there. I need a little bit bigger. Where is it? There it is. Down here. And that gives me my pretend block. Okay, so that's a nice big size block. Pretty sure it's there's 6 inches there. I reckon it's a 12-inch block. No, it's not. It's about, well, that's 6. That's definitely not 12-inch. Anyway, doesn't matter. So find out what it is actually. I want to know now. 9.5-inch block. So with this ruler, you find your center mark. Oh yeah, 9. There it is. 9.5. 9.5. So I find these centers up here. Now this won't go in there. I need to have this one working. So I'm gonna really back and forward it a bit because it's a silky sort of thing. It takes a bit for it to happen, but on cotton it won't be so you know, what's the name, touchy about the whole thing. And I'm going to go over it with the white one so you guys can see what I'm doing. I can see it, but you might not be able to. Alright. So there's one there. This is how they work. Oh, pull that down, peel off. Oh, there you go. I know it's there somewhere. Oh, it'll show up. But I can see those lines. I'll get it to work for me in a minute. So to center your piece that you're going to do in your block, you sort of need to do crosshairs. It's much easier with crosshairs. Hi Helen, are you right? I can't see the, you are, yeah, you won't be able to see them until I do that. There we are, you can see those now. So I'm just going to try and wind a little bit more off this and see if I can get that to play nice with me. Yeah, it's going to now. Take a big chunk off. There we go. Alright, so there we go. Up through there. And I'm just going to do those. They're a bit thick, but for what you guys need to see, they're perfect. Alright, so the other day we did one of the stencils, one of the rulers in the kit, the starter kit. And today we're going to do another one. So, oh, no, that's the right one. No, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, no, it's not. Where is it? There's my little set. Had it here yesterday or the day before. Oh, hang on. Alright, let's have a quick look in here. It's not that. How ridiculous. they've got to be here somewhere. Hang on, I must have buried them. Hang on. I've probably buried them. Oh, here they are. I did bury them. Oh, where did I first? Right there. Try again, Michelle. Sorry about that. I thought I had them really handy, and I did. Okay. G'day, Jimmy. Hello, Helen. Okay. So we're going to do, we did this one the other day. I need to change, actually I think it was, yeah, it was this one the other day, which is circles on quilts. And then I'm going to do this one today, which is just a different looking one. I'm going to get a bit more tape. I don't want that falling out while I'm doing it. Okay. Yeah, so we did this one. Now we're going to do this one, and I'll pop the others aside. So this is called Spinifex. We don't need a little tack or anything like that with this. It's all good without it. Yeah, we just get into it. So what you want to do is lift up your foot, place that tool in the center, pop your foot down, and put your needle down in the center where that dot is. Now this is all you got to do, is you've just got to decide. Come in, love.
Oh, come on, Suze, that's all I wanted.
All you've got to decide, hi Claire, we stop meeting like this, people start talking. You've got to decide whether you want it to go that way or that way. I'm going to do it with the point outwards. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put that point, actually I need to turn it around the other way. So let me just do needle up, oops, needle up, foot up, swap it over. The reason why I'm swapping it over is so I've got those little grippy things on the other side. Oh my god, that's like crazy with the silk. It's really grippy. All right, so pop that down there. Needle in the center, just there, and we'll get rid of that in a minute. All right, so on a silk you're going to have to be very careful because it will pull. But I'm going to have the point going outwards, and I'm lining up. There's a center line on these, and it's just the same as these here. You'll see these lines, and they're just there, and you'll see that. And I'm lining those up with this line here and that line at the back, so I've got it sitting nice and level. 2 fingers on, or one even, one on this side, 2 on that side, and all I want to do is just hold the ruler there, don't move the ruler, and all I'm going to do is just keep that foot against the side. That thread is going to get in my way, so I'm going to trim it off. It's annoying me. There it is. Oh, little fella. And it'll take you up to that point, and then come back down the other side and back to where you started with the needle down. Then pick up that ruler. On silk you definitely can't slide it, and move to the next line, and just make sure that line is lined up front and back, and do the same thing again. And if you notice, I'm not moving anything other than the fabric. I'm not moving the ruler. The ruler is staying nice and firm in its place, and I finish back at that dot, which is where I started. Line up again, and you don't have to turn your whole quilt each and every time. Alright, you can just work in that one area And because it's free motion, you can work from side to side or back to back, whatever suits. Then go over this way, line up those lines, that one and that one. Hold it firm. Up to the top, and I just pause at that top point so that I get a point. And back to that start. I need one more. And then go over here. If you don't start at that point, it'll be off center. So one or two fingers here, two on the other side. Keep it nice and steady and go around. If you've got any questions, please don't think that you can't interrupt me. You can interrupt me anytime. Alright, so that one there. So I'm now lining up again with that one. I've got the point out there, and the back of this ruler is against the foot. And go back around, and then back down. And when you do this, your first instinct is to push down. You'll instantly want to push down because you want to hold that ruler down. You don't need to. If you've got those grippy things on, when you first hold it, then just release your hands, like relax your hands, and you'll find that'll be plenty of pressure on it. You don't need to hold it like it's, you know, life or death. It's an instinct that we do, that we feel that we need to really put pressure on it. The more pressure you put on it, you won't be able to move your fabric. You're actually creating your own resistance. All right, back around to the start. And I'm going to cut off. I take that out. There you go. That's it done. How easy was that? Deep breath and relax. That's exactly right. You don't have to do that big monkey grip thing. You know, when you're driving in the rain and it's really crappy weather, you don't have to do that. Now, if you wanted to, you can echo around that, and you don't need to. You don't have to have a ruler if you don't want to. You can just use your foot. Start at a point, and put your needle down, and just gently follow. You've got your crosshairs, so you can use those as a guide. You use your foot as your distance from the previous stitch, and around you go. And what did I say the other day? If all else fails, what do? That's it, Naomi. Awesome. So once you've got it and you go all the way around again, like this will just make that one design that little bit bigger for you. And you know, so maybe the actual template is not quite big enough for your block. You can just make it bigger this way. There's also another way of doing it, and that's those echo feeds. Panic? Oh, that's all right, Terry. It's lovely to have a day at the beach. Good on you. Not that I do sand. Me and sand don't go well. I'm doing a cut-off knot, so there you go. So now I've done an echo around it, and it's good. It's starting to get there. Hit the sewing machine with a hammer. Yeah. Liz said panic. Alright, so I've got this 9-inch block, so I can go and grab this again, and I can now do some in the corners. So again, lift up your foot, pop the ruler underneath, put your needle in the corner. Now, what you've got to remember that is those lines that I've got there, they're my seam. Okay, they're my seam. Oh, that one there was a little bit short, but that's all right. They're my seam. So I am using these lines that I've drawn there as a seam of a block. So if I want to do my first one, I'm going to line it up with that seam. And I'm just going to travel up the seam, because you're not going to go over your seam. So you're going to travel up the seam. Oops, did that just grab something? Oh, it doesn't want to stitch. Oh, I reckon the bobbin's run out maybe. Oh no, it just didn't want to stitch. Okay, I'll try that again. Up you go. Stitch that. Down we go. Do as you're told. And because I've got this line there, I can then go to that line, and just remember, don't come right out. You've got to go up that seam there to that point, the edge of the ruler, and up to that point, back down, and then to that seam of that block, and back to your starting point. Then you can turn sideways, and again do the other side, but like I say, just make sure that you don't stitch outside your block. Just remember, you've got a seam there, you just go to that seam and you travel in it. Still got get a bigger hammer, you reckon? And then you've got your corners. And you can do your corners, you can echo them again, and you just go around and fill that up with extra corners and stuff like that. So see that? So instead of it just being one item, now you've got an extra, you've got corners. You can actually do your corners with it. You can also do one in here, in the center. So, so you want to fill up that block, but you don't want to go buying a bigger ruler because, you know, it's expense. So needle down, and I'm going to do, again, remembering we've got a seam, a join. Come on, why are you not? Have you unthreaded yourself? How rude. Thankfully, I have one of these. Thankfully. Because that would have been annoying. Just saying, out loud. There we go. Alright, so needle down. And I've lined up that center seam. I'm making sure I don't stitch outside of my block edge. Go up to the center. Which it's not quite there. I'm just going to turn it. There we go. And get a bigger hammer, you reckon, or a bigger pair of boots, and back down the other side. Oh, what's going on there? I got caught. And back to the starting position. Now I want to do the sides of it so it doesn't look weird. So again, line up that center line on the template, line it up, go out, cross to that point, and then come up, follow that ruler, and back to the start. Now if you want to, you could create some extra points, like one in between. It's up to you. Or you can just do the other side. Today, doing the bag, I ran out of bobbin at the end of a run. I think I hate that. I think that's right. Oh no. Hang on. Come back again. And then stitch back to the start. Alright. So if I want to do those ones in the center, between, I'm just going to eyeball it, sort of looking roughly where I want them to be, around about there. Follow that seam line, back to the edge of the ruler, then go up, then across, and back down, and then you do the exact same thing on the other side. Oh, you were lucky, yeah. Very annoying when it doesn't. Line that center one up with the ruler. Sort of gauge that you're around about the same. Again, go along that seam to the ruler, up to the point, back down to your starting point, and then cut off. And then I did do a bit of a boo-boo, but then you've got this little lotus pot. It's a little boo-boo. You know, and that becomes another part of your block. So your block will get filled, and if you really want to, you can stipple around in between. It's entirely up to you. But that is how easy that is to use. Very, very easy. I don't know where my circle one's, but oh, there it is over there. The other thing too is, oh sugar, I thought I nearly fell off my chair. You've got the circle one, the same rules apply. I need to put new sticky tape on that too. You line up, I mean a circle's a circle, so wherever you put it, but if you line up and then just move it around, you'll get that like a wreath type thing effect, okay? Same. These are a bit different. So these you need to have a border. So let's pretend this line here is our border. So the first thing we're going to do is line up our ruler. There's a top line there. That's where your needle goes. That one there is where your seam is, or the edge of your fabric. So I'm going to line that second line up with the actual edge of the fabric. No, I've got to go down one because I want my needle to go right there, which is where it's going to go. So that has to line up with the top of the fabric. My bad. The top one. So the top line is what you want to use. Now these can be, oh, good on you, mate. Probably got the tension too tight now. What you then do is you follow that. The first one is really, really easy with this, and then the second one you've got to get your head around it. So these scallops, what you've got to remember is every second row you're doing a half scallop to start with, okay? Every second row. So your first row will be a full scallop, the second row is going to be a half. So lift, pop your needle in the actual spot you want to start and hook your ruler in. Line it up, that top line, with your seam and follow that. Just hold it nice and still. You don't have to monkey grip it. Oops, that is a bit of a wobble because I'm on silk. Wait. And even if the ruler looks like it's not quite there, stop on that seam because you might have moved the ruler. Don't sort of go past your seam because the ruler's there. So again, we're going to do the second one. A little bit of movement on the first one, it's probably the silk. And I just adjust the ruler so that I get to that seam. Now if I've got one more to do, I will move the ruler up and then do this third one, right? So depending on where I'm going, how big, how much room I've got. Okay, so you stop at that seam there. Now I'm going to do my second row, but remember I said first row is a full scallop, second row is going to start with a half. Now to do the half, I need to stitch up that side seam. So you imagine there's a side seam there. You can use a straight ruler, whatever you've got, and just stitch up that seam up the side until you sort of think, oh, getting close. Alright, so I don't want to echo what I've done, I want it to be half. This top line here, that has to sit on the top of that stitching of that scallop. Okay, So I know I haven't gone far enough. So just go a little bit more. I can always come back. So I want it to be there. Now I've gone a little bit far, so I move the ruler down. I line up the center line. There's a center line there. See that line? That lines up with the edge of this. And that will mean that my needle will end up being in the center of that scallop. So I've got the stitch line in the right spot where my needle's going to land, and I've got my measuring line there. Now every other row except for the first row, you will have to adjust each and every scallop. Alright, so you get to there. If I need one more step, I'll just take one more step. Right, now you can move it over, and what you'll notice is that that's not centered. That's sitting about this far over. So if I get that camera, I'm going to bring it right over here. All right, you might have trouble seeing it. Come on, there we go. So let's go and zoom her in. So what's happening here is the scallop is here, the center's over here, but this line's telling me I need it in the center. Well, that can't happen, and the reason why is because you've got the width, the ruler, you've got the movement of the fabric and everything else. So when you get to that center line at the top there, you pause. This is the only time, and you'll notice that line is not there either. So you're definitely not centered. So you go up to that center line up there, keeping that top line level with your stitching. So you go up to the top and you pause. Just stop there. Readjust your ruler and bring this center line level with that little point where the scallop comes down. Okay, does that make sense? So you're leveling that off, you're evening it out. So now I've stopped, I'm in the center. That means this one is now going to be okay. And you're going to have to make that little adjustment for each and every one after the first row. And stop there. Because if I look here, it's about 1/8 of an inch off from that little point. So again, I'm lining up that top white line there with the stitching. Go up to this top center point, up to about here, and stop, and adjust my ruler till I get center line, and then come back down and let it sit in that little area there, that little bit there, but don't go past that scallop, so just stop at it. And then you're going to need to do a half one, because it's going to finish on a half, and you don't want that there. It's going to be anyway. And because you're going to be at the edge of the block or the border, so you'll go up. Oh, did I run out of bobbin? Oh, you little booger. Couldn't have. Did I? How rude. I have two. Hang on. I think I had only a half bobbin in, so it doesn't surprise me. Yep, half bobbin. That was a bit silly on me, wasn't it? Come on, there you go. Right, so you're still with me, or have you fallen asleep? All right. So I just want that to go in. I want that to go down. Still watching? Good. All right. So we want that. Just line that back up again, best you can. And there. Move it over. And go back up to the top. You've got that half scallop, nice. And now my second row or third row mesmerised. My third row is just going to be a full. So I've got full, half, and now I'm going to do a full. Again, line up that line with the top stitching. You don't want it to go over, and again, you still have to move. You get to that top. Get to that top, stop, adjust. Once you get used to it, you'll start doing it as you go. Sorry, fabric's moving because it's silk. You'll sort of get to the top and you'll wiggle the ruler across, and you'll be like, cool. And it won't take you so long. Bigger rulers do bigger patterns on full-size quilts. Yes, there are. Yep, there are. I'd have to go in and have a good look around what they've got. And you can see there, I didn't really stop. I just sort of one stitch and then stop and just kept going. So lining that up, go up to the top and line up my scallop back over here, and it should come back down where I went before. So green fluff on there. I'm out. Alrighty. So then you end up with scallops. See? All in a row. So that's how you do it. Okay, and if you've got to fill in half a row, you can always just do your little V or whatever it is. You make it look so easy. I do make it look easy. It is not as easy as that. This is probably one of the harder ones. So I'd suggest to start with things like circles and stuff, and things like that. But you would practice this well before getting onto a quilt. But when it comes down to it, it is not that difficult. It is just practice. All right. Now the other thing too is when you're doing this, and you know how you've got where I put my ruler, and you come into, say, come on. I can just see that thread almost going to go out. There we go. When you come into, say, this point down here and you're in there, if you wanted to, you could turn around and go, right, let's do a little bit of free motion stuff and just go bang, bang. And then you get to your next one, right? So you go over to your next one, which I'm just going to lift up and lift up and move over, and you get to your next one, and you'd still have your ruler there, and you would then do the same, and you go bang, and you haven't moved your ruler, and it means that your little foot goes back into that little cove, nice and simple. And again, you lift up, you can do it at the same time as you're doing the actual thing, or you can come back like I am. And then you go up, and then up, and you've all of a sudden you're creating a different look again. See how that creates a different look again? And you just trim them off. Yeah? Isn't that cool? So, it just changes look. I mean, you can do like a little flower thing, or you could do whatever you like. Whatever you like. You can go up and do another loop, like a teardrop. It is all whatever you want it to look like. You could do this on every row, every second row. You could do every second one. You could do a teardrop, and then this, and yeah, so many things. Yeah. Okay. It is a very cool idea, and it just breaks up the monotony of just having this boring looking scallop. I mean, they're pretty, but they're boring. I mean, I'm so used to doing free motion and all that sort of stuff, and these ones on this side are just tiny ones. They're just little fellas, and the same rules apply. You line up with your top of your seam, your fabric, and you adjust as you go. The first row is always fine. You just go all the way across, move it all the way across, and the second row is always going to start with a half. The kits are $72.50, and I'd need to know whether your machines are high or low. yeah, they're look, and you need to have a ruler foot. You can't just have any old foot, because you don't want the foot to bounce. If it bounces, it is going to smash into your ruler, and if it smashes into your ruler, it's going to most likely break your needle. And the other thing it could very well do is throw out your timing, and it will definitely break. It'll chip this and break it. So you don't want to hit them. So you have to have the right foot. All right. So that's very important. So that's how it works. That is the end of it. So there's really not more I can tell you about rulers other than showing you different ways of using them. But to start with basics is the way to go. Always start with basics. Circles, the Spinifex one, the what's in the starter set's pretty good, pretty easy, and not too hard to get your head around. Plenty of videos and YouTube stuff with Leonie West, and yeah, there's lots, and plus I've done them as well, so heaps and heaps and heaps of videos. But you do have to be able to keep your foot against the ruler, the edge of the ruler, and not do the monkey grip. And you just need to get back to that starting position. Alright? A lot of the time with these circular ones. Alrighty? So thank you again for joining me. I much appreciate all the time you spent with me for the last 4 days. And I know it's been a big weekend. And I appreciate all your time, all the effort you've put in, and I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing, and I'm nothing without you. So you make it all happen. So thank you again. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow night with a live. I know it's Monday night. I can't not do a live on Monday night. Can I not do a live on Monday night? No. Come on. Yeah, hang on. Let me just see if I can zoom that. There we go. Really excited to watch this. Oh, Melina, it's just finishing. So thank you again. Just once I finish the video, it will load up and you'll be able to watch from start. See you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.